Well, fall is a time for harvest on the water as well as the land. Minnesota's famous wild rice has been ready for collection over the past 2 months. And in this week's Northwoods Adventure, Shane Lee learns how to process wild rice the traditional way at the Mille Lacs Indian Museum.
As the temperatures cool in Minnesota, a cup of wild rice sounds better and better. A wild rice processing workshop showed people how wild rice transforms into its final savory stage.
A lot of people are under the impression that only American Indians can harvest wild rice. That is incorrect. Anybody can do it as long as you get a permit.
Wild rice no longer grows on Mille Lacs Lake, but it does grow in several northern Minnesota lakes and rivers. The rice grows best in 3 to 4 feet of water.
Water levels do affect it. Like for instance, last year we did get a lot of rain. It actually flooded the rice fields, and Lake Onamia was closed last year completely. You couldn't even go out there at all.
In order to harvest wild rice, you need the proper equipment. You start with a canoe which can legally be no longer than 18 feet long. Then you have your ricing pole to push the canoe along. This one is 14 feet in length. Then you finally get to use the ricing sticks.
Minnesota law says these can't be longer than 32 inches. Combined, they can't weigh more than a pound, okay? For the band here, we have to use cedar, and that's what these are right here.
Harvesting the rice actually helps the following year's crop, making wild rice a deliciously renewable resource.
When you're actually out harvesting, you take one of the sticks, grab the stalks, bend it over the canoe, and then you tap it. So while you're doing that, most of the rice gets into your canoe, but some of it also goes back into the lake, and then, yep, that'll be next year's crop.
After harvesting the rice, the next step is parching. The rice heats over a fire for anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes. Removing the rice at the proper time is a learned skill.
When you hear it start popping, then it's done. Realistically, that's almost letting it go too far when it starts bursting. A lot of people, the older folks that are more skilled, will know. They'll grab a rice kernel, and if you hear that snap, they'll know it's done.
After parching comes threshing, the process by which the hulls are separated from the grains. The thresher grinds the rice under his feet, leaning on the handrails to lessen the weight on the rice and preventing the grains from breaking.
I got some of my weight up, and I'm just gonna kind of twist my feet in here.
I didn't realize how much work it was to get those rice out of the shells.
Winnowing the rice removes the hulls and leaves only the grains behind. The process intrigued the visitors, but looked a bit too difficult to attempt alone.
I don't know if I'd go get a canoe and everything myself, but certainly if I could tag along with somebody, I'd like to do that.
Ricing is not for the faint of heart.
Forget a treadmill, thresh wild rice.
Shane Lee, Lakeland News.
If you've enjoyed this segment of Lakeland News, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution to Lakeland Public Television.